Hello and welcome back to Two Labs Garage. We are 10 days away from MOPAR madness, and I gotta get my Dodge truck ready for a show. It's the only vintage MOPAR I got, so we gotta use this, right? Anyway, I got 51 things I gotta do to get this truck ready to go. And that's not just some random number I pulled out of thin air. Yeah, 51 items. Yeah, got work to do. Let's get busy. Whoa. Don't want to forget what 51 items I got. So anyway, had a little time. Had the computer in front of me. Didn't have a truck in front of me. So I went through my head, well, I gotta get done. Came up with these 51 items. So is there more than that? Probably. But anyway, if it ain't running, we ain't getting there. So let's get under the hood. Piece of tape. Yeah, put it right there. Alright, so pretty much this front area is all under the hood stuff. So let's see what we got. We gotta get this thing to cool. So I reckon one of the first things is I'm gonna have to put this fan on the radiator. Go grab my radiator real quick. Alright, this right here is why I felt like the radiator was in order. Check out these holes. Alright, so here's my radiator. I actually picked this up at a junkyard. Normally I wouldn't mess with a junkyard radiator, I'd just get me a new one. But so I put a friend of mine pull an engine out of I think it was an 85, 87 Dodge truck, something along those lines. And we went and pulled the radiator out, and I'm like, this one's brand new. He's like, he didn't want it, so I said, okay, I'm taking it then. We got a radiator for this truck pretty cheap. Great. Unfortunately though, the 80s Dodge trucks and the 80 Dodge truck, they are slightly different in the way that they mount up, and slightly different in the way the shroud goes on, which is part of the reason I chose to go with an electric fan. Had a lot of reasons for that. I'm not going to bore you with them. I'm aware that there are drawbacks to electric fans. It's just what I want, so that's what I'm going to do. So anyway, I think the first thing we're going to need to do is actually mount the fan to the radiator and then drop the radiator in the truck. Alright, so over here, got it sitting on a 55-gallon drum. That's a really good work rate, I think. Yeah. Alright, future hear me interjecting. Last night, I put the fan on the radiator. Got to thinking about it while I went to bed and while I was at work today. I didn't like the way I did it. These little zip tie things that you used to mount them not being brand new, and the fact that I'd made my own cushions and all, I just wasn't comfortable with it, so I ordered a new set of the push-in things and the cushions and all that. So anyway, I'm going to take the radiator back out of the truck and redo it, but I'm going to show y'all how I originally did, and y'all tell me what you think of it. Am I wasting my time now redoing it? Was the way I did it fine? Am I making the right call? I don't know. I mean, time's of the essence. I don't want to waste a whole lot, but yeah, I feel like I made a mistake last night. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Yeah, that fan will fit well. Out like that. Oh, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Either the sticker's going to be crooked or the tabs are going to be all wampa-jawed. Yeah, I think that's how it needs to go because of the way the tabs mount. That sticker being cockeyed is going to bug me, but I'm just going to have to grow up and deal with it. If you get to be 40 years old and you haven't grown up yet, it's optional. So I'm never going to grow up. I've hit 40 years ago. Alright, so go use the push tabs to mount this thing up. Just fish them through the fins of your radiator. Just be real careful, you don't want to damage anything. Just be really, really careful. One. I did consider making a shroud for the mechanical fan. I have an old street sign. Decided against that. Little piece of rubber on the outside. Hold these things on. And yes, I got both my electric fans out of swap meet. I actually pulled these tabs out of the box for the other one I got. And wouldn't you know it, one of the speed nuts is broken. That's fine. Alright. So this little piece of hose here, that needs to go. It kind of goes without saying. However, and this is a big however, I'm actually going to use it for something. I worry a little bit about the vibrations of the fan being mounted directly on the radiator. Now, around here, I don't really want to mount anything in between the fan and the radiator, because that will also allow air in unless I do it 360 degrees. Which, if I can find some insulating tape, I may do that. Who knows? But on the opposite side, where the push nuts go in, I just want to cushion it. Just try to take care of my radiator a little bit. So I'm going to make some rubber washers out of this old hose. Never cut towards you with a razor knife. Always wear gloves when you're using a knife. And don't cut towards your hands or your body. Yeah. How long before I start bleeding? Eat that, Hulk Hogan. Alright, over here redoing it. I do actually think my cushions weren't that bad an idea. But, like this one right here, I just use my bare fingers to pull off the... Yeah, I really feel like I'm doing the right thing here. My cushions, though, I might just reuse them because that's, I mean, radiator hose, that's pretty... See how easy they're coming off. That wouldn't have worked long term. Alright. So, got the new ones I picked up from AutoZone here. Torque Flow cooling accessories. Alright. Now also, comes with these foam rubber things. Big concern I had, one of the main concerns I had, besides I just didn't feel like those zip ties were strong enough, was I was worried about the vibrations from the motor being transferred in and just kind of slowly cutting a hole in the radiator. I don't know if this is the correct way to do this, but it's how I'm going to do it. Remember, I'm not a trained mechanic. I've never put one of these on except last night. I'm going to take my fan, flip it. I'm going to put so the hole directly lines up. That foam rubber will compress, absorb the vibrations, and hopefully prolong the life of my radiator. But now let's see. Did I actually have it the correct way? Because I didn't even notice the flat sides yesterday. Like so. Alright, so go ahead and stick these through. I already feel better about this. What do you think, Nelly? Oh, you want that tennis ball thrown, ain't it? Alright. Shall line these up with yesterday's holes. Now, again, flip her over carefully. Now my homemade radiator hose washers. Oh yeah, this is going so much easier than last night. And the little push nuts. Yeah, I like that a whole lot better. You know what? I'll rebuild that core support before I put this back in. You know, this stuff even rebuilds acorns. Better than new. Now, see, where's the ones I just took out there? Leave it to me to lose them in that short time frame. Sounds like something I would definitely do. Alright, so I'm going to use this. I actually did find some holes that line up with the two styles of radiator. Stick this together. Found that bolt. It rolled. It was nowhere near the truck. That's okay. As long as we find it. Alright. So it's at least sitting there now. Onto the bottom bolts, and I knew I forgot something on the way home. Fender washers. But I also recently changed some shocks out on the other projects. So I may have some of those big washers around. So I'm in luck. I will use them. Alright, so I found one shock absorber washer. Plenty big fender washer. Will do the job. If I look a little harder, I'll probably find another one. And it doesn't take up so much thread that I can't use it. All these are good things. Look around, find me one more. And we're cooking with gas. I got some family dinner reservations tonight, so I'm going to need to head on and get a shower and cleaned up so I can go and do something about these mosquitoes. God, they're terrible. So, of my list of 51 items tonight, I checked one off. Only 50 to go. And actually, I realized my expansion tank needs to be remounted. That's now on the list. So we got 52 things on the list now, and I still have 51 things to do. This thing right here went to the vacuum amplifier thing, for lack of a better term. And it's not going to be used anymore. So I need to take it out, and that's where I decided to put the fan sensor thing. I could also put it where that plug was, but since I gotta do something here, I figure just as well. So it's really tight clearance. And for that reason, I've decided I'm going to go ahead and just remove this bolt here so I can flip my arm out of the way. And looking at it like that, I can do a little touch-up paint right there, make that look like $1,000,000, and I can make that look like $1,000,000. So it looks like a win all around. Now, I'm guessing that's 3/4. I'll have one of them out here already. Do I? No, I don't see one. So I'm going to get a wrench, take this out, and I hope this is right. I hope this is right with my idea. It worked. No, it would not have, so I feel better. And that's a 7/8. There we go. Now, remember, righty tighty, lefty loosey. Almost forgot. I'm going to pull this wire back for a minute, temporarily. And that right there is enough to shield off paint from getting on my hoses, I think. I hope. A little insurance never hurt. Now, I did the wiring for the electric fans for my Ford truck. I used a kit I got from Jigs. Well, this one time I'm using the kit. It's the chicken no main variety from Amazon. But yeah, like I was saying, I really think that the kit I got this time is going to work just fine. I'm just saying, if I really liked what I got from Jigs, either way, we'll be fine. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and put the Teflon on my threads. If you ever have trouble remembering which way the Teflon goes, just remember to take your Teflon, put it on the threads, and you tighten, you do the tightening action on whatever you're putting the tape on. and that'll get you straight every time. Even if you got something that's got reverse threads, as long as you're in the tightening motion, they'll go on like they're supposed to. So settle for 11/16 gear wrench. I absolutely would. There we go, nice start. Alright, so here is my wiring harness that was supplied through Zozo Motors. They didn't give me nearly the length that Jegs did, so that means that wires will have to be spliced. I'm also going to try to figure out where exactly to put my relay, and the gray wire goes to that, so just looking, my gray wire to here, to this brace here that holds this canister, that looks like a place where the relay could be protected out of weather, away from the majority of the heat. So I'm liking that. I'm also liking the fact that the black wire could possibly be tied into something from the old harness, because the black wire, according to this, goes to the switch power. So I'll either run that to one of my switches inside, or I'll see if there's something from the harness I can use that went to the old emission stuff that I'm not using anymore. Maybe something in there can help me out. That'd be nice, but if not, it's not in the world. And it says coffee, which, when I think coffee, I think green because I think vomit, because I don't like the stuff. I'll let that. Coffee, according to them, is this brown wire. Now the brown wire, it's going to be marginal, but it may make it to the fans. Maybe I can set the relay down and get, yeah, that does look better. So the brown one is even going to be okay. The red battery one, yeah, we're extending this, because there ain't no way. That's fine. Also, like the Ford truck, I'm going to be putting the override on the fan so I can turn it on manually if I want to. That's also going to play a factor in whether or not what I do with the wires that come out of the harness. That could play a role. We'll see. That doesn't have to be done right this minute. What we'd like to do is get this canister out of here, because that's one of the things I'm deleting on. And then put the relay on this area somewhere. Alright, so right here is where I have mounted the relay. And the wiring harness for it. Alright. Extending the wire. I'll let y'all a little secret of mine. If you're looking for inexpensive wire for doing automobiles, yes, West Marine. And if y'all are laughing right now, I get it. But remnants, perfect for doing automobiles. Like this is a little 3-foot section of 8 gauge, but that cost me 71 cents. But this right here is the spool I was looking for. This is a 10-foot remnant of 12 gauge. Guess what I need? 12 gauge. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Alright. So I kind of simulated the length. Nearabouts. And go cut the 12 gauge wire off. Use all that at a future date. Strip it. I'm going to crimp a terminal on here. I just got a thing of uninsulated terminals that I'm going to use in conjunction with heat shrink. And it's just something new I'm trying. What kind of terminals do y'all like? Y'all like just the standard ones like I typically use? Do you like the ones that come with the heat shrink? Do you like these? Let me know what you think. Well, just kind of curious what everybody else does. That's about right. Cut me off a piece of heat shrink. Cutting tools. Y'all be glad you're not on smell-o-vision, because one of the dogs just tooted and it's rough. Got my heat shrink slid on. Slide my connector on. Crimp. And light one up for Jesus. I know some people use mini torches of this, and they use heat guns. The only reason I don't is because they don't sell that at the dollar store. Put my blue butt connector on here. Don't forget to slide on a piece of heat shrink. Alright, and now just fish it through. I'm going to fish it up in between the radiator, under the radiator support. So like yay. Come out here and plenty of room for the battery. Now eventually I am going to zip tie that up. But one thing I found out looking at the MOPAR sites, with some of the stuff that goes on with the gauge inside being critical to the charging and this, that, and everything, they said put a jumper in there. So I'm going to do that. I can also see if I do some like big road trips, power tour and stuff like that with this truck, I could see me going to a Ford 3G alternator. I need to find out what the output on this is. I mean, I might be fine with this. I might need more. I don't know. But for now, I'm going to run this one. But I'm going to run that jumper wire up here and all that. And then I'm going to zip tie the two of them together. So, but that's not right this minute. Alright, so I need to put a spade terminal here. Brown to the fine. Take this coffee wire. Well, I'll call it the right thing. And this time, just to protect it a little more, I am going to slide the insulator up over most, but not quite all of the terminal. There we go. Not bad looking at all. So I've really only filmed after dark one time, and that was a couple months ago when I was doing the tires. Yeah, that's been a while. Anyway, if I'm going to get the thing finished on time, I'm going to have to do some work at night. So anyway, I tell you all that because I don't know all that much about filming and cinematography in the first place. I think that's what it's called. I learn more every day. I'm just going to do my best to film at night. I hadn't done this really before, so I decided to go ahead and switch it inside like I did the other truck. I really like that way of doing it. So anyway, since I'm doing that underground, I have this two-color red and black wire. I don't know what I got this for. I really don't. But I'm going to run this into the cab since it's got them both together. And I guess use red for hot and black for ground. I don't know. Yeah. Alright, so I got the wires run up there. There, we're going to control the fans. On this end, I need to get an approximate length, because I'm going to have to run it behind the dash, but I'm going to have to cut off the spool first. So something in that area should work. Chop. Alright, let's see if I can fish this through here. Now this is much easier before the glove box insert was back. I'll be able to run that to my fuse box, which I haven't put in yet, and to my switches, which I also haven't put in yet. But nonetheless, the wires run, so I can, once I'm ready, everything's good to go. Also, while I'm in the wire running game, I'm going to run my main wire from my fuse box, my auxiliary one. This wire look familiar? Yep, same stuff I was using on the Ford truck. Still got some, and it'll be a good main. I'll show you a little bit of how I run it. There's no crush panel or anything like that in these fenders. And I got the idea from looking at the radio antenna on the other side. But with the door open, I'm going to slide this in between the fender and the inner fender. I never noticed there was a dent right there. Anyway, I digress. Go run this through there and just kind of show you how I do it. I don't think this will work on every kind of truck, but this Dodge, just the way it's built, it will. Feed it in like so. Come around here, see if I can feel and find it. Let's see what I've got. There we go. I can feel her now. Alright, now I gotta get back behind this. Alright, now put a ring terminal on it. Heat shrink, yellow, so it's nice and color coordinated. Down there, grip good. There you go. By the way, I like to use a marine battery when I'm doing all this stuff. And now to fish this end in. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. It's pretty dark out here. So anyway, I looked at my list of 52, and I got 4 things done. 48 to go. But I gotta say, really the progress isn't that bad. And it looks like some of the stuff, when I get to work on like one system, I'll be able to knock out a whole lot of birds with one stone. But if not, it looks like I got 9 days to do a lot. I need to get something I can write with to strike through the things I've done. And to be completely honest, some of the stuff that doesn't get done before MOPAR madness, yeah, it's not the end of the world. Like if I don't get the decal on the tailgate, the Dodge decal, I'd like to get it on there, but anyway, call it a night. See you after work tomorrow. Alright, back for another round. So, I just came out here and looked at this thing, and one of the items on my list is fuel pump. And I looked at the fuel pump, I was like, daggone, that thing's shiny. I've forgotten, I remember a little bit about it now, but I've forgotten I changed it. But I also looked at it. Alright, I know it's a little hard to see, but you only tightened one of the bolts. Now let me just tell you, on slant sets, that's kind of under the slant. Not the easiest thing to get to. So I got a swivel with my socket. And if you think of why am I not trying to get it from underneath, I can say that in one word: cross member. Alright, fuel pump is in. Now fuel line to the carburetor. I stuck me a piece of rubber facets taints on here, and I got a pinch clamp. And I was never a fan of those things till I had to repair my dishwasher one time, and it required the use of one. There was no other way to put like a hose clamp or whatever on it. So I got the little kit. These things are actually pretty nice. So you put it on there, take your tool, crimp the snot out of it, secured. Now get it off, yeah, that's going to be a little bit of air. Right here I'm going to put my fuel filter right on top where it's accessible, but I am not going to put one of those pinch clamps there. In fact, I think I'm going to get me some of those that have a little wing nuts on so they can be changed like lickety split. So anyway, let me get my fuel filter, put that on. New fuel filter. And this is a 33032, which is really the same thing as the plastic ones, with the exception of that second 3. It's just a steel one. Who knows, maybe in the future I might change to using the clear ones just so I can monitor it, but at the time I just looked up what it said these trucks took. Well, it said. And since we're at it, I guess I'll use the devil rings. Get back on there. Now if I had a redo, I would probably put the pump more this way, but I don't want to waste the line, so what I'm going to do is zip tie that. But I'm also going to put the return line in there, so I'm not going to get too carried away just yet. Alright, it's yellow thermostat time. I'm going to be putting a 160 in this because I like to run the cool ones. And the little short side always goes towards your radiator, so the spring's in the hot part. Now interestingly, this particular thermostat gasket came with a little adhesive backing to it. Now being I trust that about as much as I do a wet fart, I'm still going to put some RTV on it, but maybe not take it quite as heavy. Now, boop, 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 boom, boom. The neck, definitely want to goop this up good. I tend to get a little sloppy with RTV, but it's kind of like money, you know. If you ever have too much and not enough, I don't want to have leaks, especially if I really want to turn this into one of my distance vehicles. Crappy looking bolt on the bottom, and my pretty one on top. Nope, didn't think so. Where's the beep, beep, beep? So thermostat installed. Number 13, lucky 13 is off the list. That brings me to 9 of 52, 43 to go. Alright, so pretty much everything I gotta do here now is belts, hoses, belts and hoses, get the air cleaner on. The worst is behind them. And the last thing I'm gonna do is put this expansion tank on once I'm pretty sure I'm done with the engine area. And the reason I don't go ahead and do that earlier is because one of the problems with these Dodge trucks where they put it right here, got guys take their big bellies when they're trying to do something here, go work on it, crunch. So we don't want to risk that happening. I do have a spare, but don't want to have to use it. Alright, so I'm ready to put my hoses on, and yeah, I'm using these flex hoses with a little spring thing inside. Some people use them. Some people hate these things. They're not my favorite thing in the world, but I have used them before, never had a problem with one. I've had them on cars 15 years, never had a problem. The reason I chose to go forward with using one of these is because this radiator came out of a different year truck and it is slightly different. So a preformed one, I was just worried it might not fit up, so when I ordered hoses I just got these. And they'll work. Anyway, this one's a 22 inch and a half by inch and a half. Goes on there well. Oh, I need to put a clamp on it. Let me go find some clamps. Be right back. Alright, so I got top and bottom hoses on. Great, or at least on the engine. On the radiator side, remember this is a used radiator. Should be fine, but I like to just flush it a little bit anyway, so this is the way I'm going to flush it this time. Alright, now the water's coming out clear. It was a little rusty color at first, but not much. This is a good radiator. But that was just a little extra precaution, just cut. I mean, how long did that take? A minute? Not even. Now just gonna put the bottom hose on. Doing hoses, do yourself a favor, put the bottom hose on first. Because it's a whole lot easier to get to then than after you got the top one on. And of course the top one. Alright, hoses installed. Number 16. Now let's see if I can find the belts I bought for this. It's been a while, so hopefully I can still find them. I about got wrapped up under the hood what I can. Gotta get belts. Gotta do something with that return line. Contemplate that. But in the meantime, got a lot of work to do inside the cab to make all this stuff work. And to be safe to go down the road. So anyway, one thing I learned when I did my Ford truck is it's a whole lot easier to get under that dash and do stuff with the seat out. And being I hadn't bolted the seat down yet, it's one of the things on my list. Out comes the seat. Alright, so this is what I'm choosing to use for the fuse panel for my add-on electric stuff. And this is the same one I used on my Ford truck. I want to mount it somewhere secure and out of the way, so I'm going to use this spot right here on the firewall. It's away from the clutch, it's away from pretty much any interference. Looks like a good spot. Alright, so here we go. All bouted up. Now, thing to do, run those wires and get to a place where I got the best routing for the main, and then start worrying about the stuff that's feeding. Now right now I'm not going to be using maybe not even half of the slots, but in the future it will fill up. So, and even so, I mean, we always got a little room to expand too. Six will be more than enough to do the job. Alright, so I got the wire cut to length. We'll go ahead and slide my insulator over, my shrink or whatever that is. Use this terminal because it's just the right size. And I'm not a big fan of crimping with these, but here I go. Actually did a really good job. Now heat shrinker. Wire to it. Alright, tighten that nut and that'll be hooked up. Alright, so I do believe that'll do it for this week's episode. I did some work off camera up under the dash, just running some of the wires and all. There's no way I could have filmed that. But anyway, I need to get to editing the video so I can have it out for y'all. But I got about 40 things left on the list, and probably about 5 things that I found in addition, like putting the headlight dimmer switch in. I don't think that's on my list, so I need to do that. Hey, if I'm wrong, cool. But I know I need to order belts. I got the stuff ready to go in here, wired up. I know it looks like this truck needs a lot of work basically for a week. I think it's doable. I really do. And of course there's other stuff I'm just going to prioritize. All in all, I'm pretty pleased. I can't wait to get this truck there. Pretty much decide one way or another it's going. But in the meantime, if you had to please go ahead and hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. I'm trying to make the channel grow. More it grows, more and better things I can do. All you gotta do to help me is hit that subscribe button, like the video, watch some of the older ones, and literally that's all you have to do to help me grow. But until next time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, take care of your projects. God bless, and I'll talk to you again soon.